Hey everyone, welcome back. You guys really wanted the inside scoop on what's going down between Burna Boy and Davido, right? So we took a deep dive into all the social media stuff to see what's what.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
It is. It's definitely got people talking.
It's like we're all watching this, entertainment review show together, and then we come back and dissect it all. So, like, just to set the scene for anybody who maybe missed it, Burna Boy made this post that kind of threw some shade. He didn't name names or anything, but everybody thinks he's talking about Davido, right? He says, and I quote, "If you ever lied about buying Sujimoto's house in Banana when you only rented it, do better in 2025. Oof. If you ever lied about Alele's house being yours, do better in 2025. If you have an aftermarket rainbow Daytona, please stop telling people it's real. Do better in 2025. It should be a criminal offense to tell as many lies as certain men." The list can go on and on and on.
Wow.
Basically saying people are out here lying about what they own, all this luxury stuff, and it's like a criminal offense. It was intense.
Yeah, he was not holding back. And, for anyone who's not super familiar with the Afrobeats scene, it's important to understand that these two are heavy hitters.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Like, globally recognized, huge followings. So for Burna Boy to come out so strongly, it really makes you wonder what's going on behind the scenes.
It's serious stuff. And, he even called out some pretty specific things. Right. Like, what was it?
Yeah, like the Sujimoto house, right?
Yeah.
Then there was something about someone named Alele's house and like a rainbow Daytona watch. I mean, it's so specific.
Yeah, those are some serious status symbols we're talking about here. And it just adds another layer of intrigue to it all, like, is he really calling out Davido directly? Or is it more of a general comment on this whole culture of, I don't know, like, showing off your wealth?
Totally. And then you've got Sujimoto himself, like, jumping into the mix.
I know, right?
Confirming that Davido did buy a house from him.
Like, why? Why even get involved? You know what I mean? It just adds fuel to the fire.
Right.
Makes you wonder if he's trying to, like, capitalize on the whole drama for publicity, or if he genuinely felt the need to defend Davido.
Yeah, it's so messy, isn't it? Like, where does genuine concern end and self-promotion begin? It's all a blur.
Totally. And meanwhile, you've got the fans, right? Totally obsessed, going back and forth, analyzing every little detail. And Davido himself, he's been super quiet about the whole thing.
Which just makes everyone even more curious, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna clap back? Is he gonna ignore it? It's like the suspense is killing everybody. And, it kind of reminds me of those, like, legendary music rivalries, like, think Biggie and Tupac. Or like Blur and Oasis, these big clashes. They become part of the whole music landscape, they shape the genre.
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes that kind of rivalry can be really productive. It pushes everyone to be better, to innovate, but it can also turn sour really fast. Get personal, destructive. And in this case, with Burna Boy and Davido, they're part of what people call the big three of Afrobeats, right? Along with Wizkid. So their dynamic kind of sets the tone for the whole scene.
Exactly. So do you think this whole thing, could it, like, define this era of Afrobeats? Like, do you see that happening?
It's possible, right? It's all playing out so publicly, and Afrobeats is having this huge global moment. But it's different now than it was back in the day. It's not just about the music anymore. It's also about, image, brand, social media. It all gets amplified 1,000 times over. And the stakes are higher.
It's true. It's like a whole different ball game now. And it makes you wonder, like, with all this focus on luxury stuff, the cars, the houses, the watches, does that say something about our culture? Like, are we all just obsessed with status and material things?
It's a good question, and I think it definitely taps into some of those anxieties, like, what does success look like? How do you measure it? And social media just throws gasoline on the fire, right? It turns these personal feuds into these huge public spectacles, and we all get sucked in. It's a weird dynamic.
It really is. So where do we go from here? What do you think the next chapter of the Burna Boy and Davido saga looks like?
Oh, man, if I could predict the future, right? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Maybe they'll keep going at it. Maybe they'll find a way to channel it into their music. But I think it's safe to say that this isn't going away anytime soon. People are invested.
For sure. And we'll be here to break it all down for you as it unfolds. So until next time, stay tuned and keep those notifications on.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Definitely.
For sure.